And my mom came over when she was like 16, 17. The whitest town, Brockville, Ontario.
That's where they went?
Oh Brockville, Ontario. 5 daughters ended up in one high school. So imagine you're in high school like a white
And
guy.
these 5 Asian chicks. Is Cirque du Soleil in town? Like, what the fuck is...
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying, I salute you for tuning back in. I appreciate you. My guest today back in the studio for his second appearance in the Immigrant Section. My guy, Anto Chan. What do you say, homie?
Hey, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for having me back. It is
You're
so
definitely
good.
a Subaru guy. You know, we do a thing, we guess cars. We forgot to do it today because, you know, I pulled up last second, but... You're in the back of that, what is it, a Forester?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it looks pure art teacher back there. You had a crate of albums, like vinyls. You had like 6 shirts and like 14 books. You look like you were going to the hood and just trying to spread art and culture to whatever kid you looked like he was struggling.
Yeah, and
Read this.
And I also was struggling that I live in that car too.
Yeah. I didn't see the back seat. That's where the pillow is and the blanket.
There's an actual. But it was actually a gift from my dad, the Forester. It was
No
such
way.
like a, and I got it for my birthday, and it was like the strangest thing. Like,
Damn, you come from money, bro?
no, not that's what's crazy.
That's so
That's
funny.
why it was so surprising. I've never.
I was mad a little bit there. Well, you got that for you, man.
Yeah,
this
a
podcast
2000
about struggle, bro.
The 2009 Forester.
Is that
Bam.
an 09?
Yeah, 09. Yeah,
Looks new.
in your face. Yeah.
But yeah, he got it for you for your birthday.
Yeah, and I was visiting Ottawa, and then he just came downstairs. I had all of my bags and everything. He's like, come up. He just like kind of like motioned me, and I was like, all right. So I just followed him into his like cave of his like room that he works at. You know, he works for the government, so he's just always in his room, and there's just so much stuff in there, and he's just like points at the screen like on his computer. I was like, what is happening right now? And he's like, you know, your old car, you can't drive anymore. I was like, yeah. It's like,
What were you
almost
driving
went
up to that point?
A PT Cruiser.
Oh my God! Did he get you that too?
No. I got
Okay.
that. I love that in your mind now. Everything that I've ever done, my
It's for-
parents,
it's
my
your
dad has
dad's
given
gift,
to me.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he's just like, okay, I'll get you this car. And then we were just in the car and driving to go and purchase this random car, and we met multiple old Chinese men, shook a lot of hands, and then as I was leaving, he's like, now you could come visit your mom more often. And I was like, you too, right, Dad? And he was like, okay. And then I hug him, and he
Not
just
really.
like back pat hugs me, and then it's
Yeah,
you know,
he's
like
like,
that's the. But it was like that was such a important moment or special moment. You know, it's like I'm 36 now, and it's like after all these, I've never received a gift like this, but there's just been so much different types of love. So it's like I'm realizing it's just a different way of caring. You know, like. He's more of an action person and less of a talking person. And I'm always like, I love you, Dad. And he's like, good. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as you're driving away in a new car, it doesn't matter. He could have spit in your face. I'm like, immigrant parents, am I right?
Oh, man.
Oh, immigrant parents.
I love that you're not even wiping it with like a napkin or anything. Your hand.
Oh,
you're like,
you got a Forester,
Yeah.
bro. They should have a feature for that in there, huh?
just sprays in your face.
Did
to,
it
like-
have any maintenance issues, or did it create any issues for you?
I mean, the engine light is on all the time, but I mean, I'm used to that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's-
anybody who's ever had
I love
like
that.
a used
The artist
car,
life
yeah,
right
artist
there.
life. You're just okay with the engine light. Like sometimes they'll flash, and I'm like, I probably should bring it in, and then I just don't. Like,
Oh, when it flashes, yeah, that's
yeah.
when it's real check engine, you know?
Yeah,
Because normally it's like, check engine, you know?
Yeah, it's like,
just check it when you, I mean, if it's convenient at some point to check engine, then probably
Yeah.
check engine, right? But when it flashes, they're like, bro, check engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get your fucking shit checked, dude.
It's like when you get your tires like switched over,
Rotated,
Just
yeah.
just ask about the engine to the guy, but don't actually pay him any money. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. And then if it's like flashing, it's like, okay, you know, bring it up in like more. Hey, I'm just bringing this in. Can you do a check on the car for like $100 or something? You know, but
You know what
I
I-
try not to
Yeah,
spend
you don't
too much.
You don't want to pay for it, but you know what I've noticed that at least the kind of proactive shops, they will check first. You don't even have to say
because they
anything.
need to make money. That's how they make
it's
money.
all upsell. They're like, we noticed some lights on your
Yeah.
dash, and you're like, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your rear right hub needs to be changed. You're like, rear right hub? Okay, now you're online looking at
literally have
parts.
no
and
idea,
like,
yeah, any
Well, I
of the
know car
stuff.
stuff, but now it's like, you could shop around and be like, how much to switch out the rewrite hub? Like, you can go look for the cheapest hourly rate.
Yeah. And on YouTube, you could be like, I can maybe do it myself.
I've done a lot of that, but the changing a wheel hub is like fucking labor intensive. You want to do it. It's like...
Are you starting a business right now? Is that what we're thinking of?
No,
right
I do this stuff
that's
for my
what I'm
own
saying.
car. No. I don't have the time.
You're
No,
gonna
I'm
How
not
much
doing
do you
anything.
need
Fuck
to
that shit.
change my
Fuck
engine?
that time. So time consuming. But like I used to be like a hunter for the cheapest price, and then you realize you're not really building a relationship at one. You want to build a relationship at one shop.
But also you're spent like that's the same with me, but like more so if I'm gonna purchase something, I need to find like the cheapest thing, find a deal for all that kind of stuff. And then what ends up happening is you spend like 40 hours in like 2 weeks doing it. And you're like, how much money would I have made if I would have just spent 40 hours doing that other thing?
Your own craft or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But I just get like obsessive if I'm going to purchase something. So just spend all this extra time.
If you value your time, it's like you'll never return anything. Like you buy a shirt that's like $30. It's like, am I going to go to the fucking thing? I just have this now, you know?
Yeah. And the worst is when you see like a shirt or something that you haven't even taken the tag off of and you just like bought it and you're like, what am I even?
You just in this. You ever go into a place being like, I'm not leaving empty-handed. You know?
Oh no, not me, man. I
Dude,
leave all the time, but it's uncomfortable.
I'll
that
be
moment
out.
when
I'll
you...
be out. Like we were just in Montreal doing shows, and we went into this place to like we were killing time, and this store had shit, and I was like, I'm buying something here for like I was sold on the idea of buying something before I even like got something
because that was why you were there, not like
because we had 2 hours to kill. We had a little money in our pockets. Like I'm buying something to remember being here. To like commemorate money from comedy, all these things, right? And then found nothing. But then eventually found shoes. Those shoes right there.
Oh, I was looking at those shoes.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
have you actually worn them, or they're just
I
like
have.
a
It's just
celebratory?
the fucking puppies chewing them. Everything.
Okay,
I keep
damn.
the prized possessions high up.
Yeah.
Whatever is high up, that's what I love.
Okay,
all
nice,
right?
nice.
See, all my picture frames are low as shit. You know, they can attack, dude.
So is that why you made me lower my seat?
Yeah, I was
Is
like,
because
lower
you're
your
like
seat.
you're
Gunner!
less. Yeah, get the dog to chew my ankles. You know.
I got some Mandarin chicken for you guys.
Cantonese, all right? I speak Cantonese.
I love that you don't mind the chicken part.
No,
but it's
not
like,
at all,
get Hong Kong. You prick.
Hong Kong specific, you know?
But yeah, man, thank you for coming out, bro.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. Seeing you back in the studio in the Immigrant Section. You like the new setup?
Beautiful
We're
setup.
upstairs now. Huh?
Yeah, that's nice for sure. And there was no moments where you're like, don't look over there, you know? Like this is all... Everything is viewable and enjoyable.
Did I say don't look over there last time?
Not in like you didn't say it with words, but I just kind of was like looking around and you're like, okay, let's start. You know? Like, it's just kind of like let's go. But like it's so beautiful in here, man. You definitely upgraded. I love what you've done with the space, and yeah, it definitely feels good. But I feel like the vibe's same, still good.
Oh, it's the
Still
same,
flow.
yeah. But it's a work in progress. Like the lighting is a work in progress. Everything has been a work in progress. Dante's on board now. It's nice to have like
team has doubled.
It's nice to have support for sure. But I know that you kicked off some sort of like you got a bunch of money from like
I love how you
cut
say
right
that.
to the chase.
Like, how'd you
government you tricked the government into giving you money. Clearly, you showed them a picture of check engine sign with like. Immigrant, like you sold them on diversity. You either way, I know you, bro. You sold some motherfucking funding body on some struggle, but you got some money and you're putting together some real shit. And in May, I forget what it's called, but I'm like, yo,
InnerGenerational.
InnerGenerational. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's also humorous because that's how we know each other from comedy is because we can't just see the other person being like, you know what, you're doing great in this way. I got to make sure that we bring you back down to comedy world.
Exactly.
Like you somehow tricked somebody into You
wrote a lot of POC Asian hate. I can just picture the application: hate against Asians, minority differences. Bringing light to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, that stuff is important. So thank you for talking down to it. But
sarcasm, this is the highest level.
But I also definitely like both things, right? It's like super important to talk about these things and like obviously bring it up. But at the same time, definitely it is good in the grants to be able to talk about the things that a lot of people aren't bringing up, right? And there is a certain level of, especially as artists and performers, there is a feeling of a bit cheesiness to it. You know, you're like, oh, I got to like bring this stuff up, but I
gotta make it funny. Yeah.
But I also want to bring light to a lot of these things, these topics as well too, right? So it's kind of like both. It's like, yes, I had to bring this stuff up but it also is forcing me or pushing me to actually investigate a lot of the shit that I've kind of like buried and not talked about and not thought about, right? So even as a comedian, when you talk about a lot of the stuff, the struggles of the immigrant experience and things like that, you really could only get so surface, right? You can't, the longest people will really pay attention to you talking about like maybe one story or whatever, especially if you're not headlining, is maybe like 5 minutes or something, right? But it's like this type of show really like, you kind of have to flesh it out and make the experience kind of more intense and longer, and which I'm really excited to, really investigate and experience and try to push myself in that way,
So what is the show exactly? So where is it going down?
Yeah, so there's
why am I not on this shit, bro? Why am I not on this shit, bro?
Yeah, well, you're not Asian. That's one.
Oh, is it purely you
Asian?
said intergenerational. That's, I didn't hear any Asian
So InnerGenerational Trauma and Healing, that's the name of it, and it's specifically for Asian performance artists. So
okay, I'm not mad at it. It's the Immigrant Section. I'm looking for a spot.
We could slowly expand it. We'll expand it. We can do a collab next year too. That was one of the things that I really wanted to do too, is like to connect to a lot of different different people who are also have gone through intergenerational trauma and all the work that they're doing to heal, and like that's a big part of the show, and that's what's interesting, bringing it back into comedy as well too, right? It's like, how do you talk about these super intense topics that are like that fucked you up even when you were a kid, and then you bring it, but that's why it's so interesting and why I was like so hyped to be back on this show, is because you do it all the time. You're like,
well, that's the point of this. Yeah, we cut into it. We cut into the meat of things. We try to bring levity to it.
Yeah.
But 100%, I've had a lot of episodes where it's just the person's 30 minutes. Like, we saw 9 people die in front of us. We walked. I'm like, oh shit. And I don't. Part of me doesn't want to be
wasn't
like
10. Am I right?
Exactly. You're hurt by what I said earlier. You're mad at me, dude.
I'm not mad at you. No, I'm not mad at you. I feel it though, because I also feel the stuff that you're saying right now.
It's that
I go through it too. It feels like I have to do a dance.
Thing. Yeah,
exactly. Right. And it's not just with audiences. It is also with governing bodies in that way too. And I don't blame them, because they do want to highlight these.
They have an agenda as well too.
Absolutely. And they are wanting to be able to give a certain amount to BIPOC or like organizations and artists, right? So
BIPOC sounds like if Tupac went both ways.
Hey.
BIPOC. But what intergenerational?
Yeah.
Is it comedians, art, musicians?
So there's 2 other artists, performance artists. One of them is actually a rapper and a dancer.
Yeah.
And then he's also produces all his own music and stuff like that.
What's
and
his
then
name?
His name is Siddhartha. Yeah, Siddhartha. And he's just amazing, man. And he's like, it's crazy. Both the artists are like 25, 26. And I didn't even know that when I was contacting them. And it's like, I feel like so old, like compared to, I'm like a decade older. I was like, yo, you guys are
facilitated it.
That's
though,
right,
so.
I guess. Yes, yeah. So it took longer to produce or put the whole experience together. And then the other artist, she's actually a visual artist, a musician, and she does like a bit of rap and like music in general. So and then myself, I do comedy, poetry, and storytelling throughout my show. And so it is like a variety experience. So like many different, I guess like all of the things that we've gone throughout our lives, we're just kind of putting it in. But you really could only do so much with the time that you're given. It's like.
Is it a 2-hour thing?
We're trying to do about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We're just figuring that out about that amount. Like just being able to flesh it out enough, but we also don't want to overwhelm people. There's trauma's intense, right?
Yeah.
So we want to be able to give a little bit of space and see how that goes. But the show in itself really is us diving a little bit deeper into a lot of the stuff that we experience as children, as youth, and kind of what it is that we want to bring forward into the legacies, like into our next. All the children that are coming up and everything. So everything we experience, what worked, what was great, and then kind of looking at our lives now and what things do we want to bring forward with us. That's kind of the hypotheses of like, okay, if we analyze ourselves enough and think of what was actually positive, what really hurt us as kids, and then what we bring forward. That's kind of like the main goal, I would say, of the whole project. And
that's noble.
Yeah, thanks, man.
From your point, from what you're bringing to your third of the show.
Yeah.
What things are you planning on talking about?
Yeah, so I definitely talking about my mom and just how hard it was for her to say "I love you" back to me. Like for a while, that was like.
Would you hit her with
challenge.
the "I love you"?
Yeah, like and after I went to therapy for a while, I was like talking about therapy all the time, and like I just felt like I was like part of the therapy gang. Like therapy's like. religion to a certain extent. So once you're in, you just tell everybody about them. They're like, all right, here we go. There's the fucking therapy guy again, you know? But that's how it felt. And then I started telling her I loved her. And then it was just challenging to like, she would be like, "Oh,
you have a Subaru.
You want fruit? Like, I'll cut you fruit. You know, like that's kind of the vibe of it or whatever."
They love through service.
Yeah, yeah,
they do. They love through
service.
service.
It is so true, man. Service is such a huge part of it, and also like quality time too. You just sit with them, and it's just like you're watching.
Words
something.
don't even have to be exchanged.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting. I'm such a words person, so it's like so different. And then so it definitely took a while for her to like come around, like she'll text it or whatever. And like and things like that. And one time I was like on a date, and then she randomly called me at like 7 p.m. you know, and at 7 it's like no one's calling you at 7.
Like Mom, it's bedtime. What are you doing?
No, it was like not even like those air duct guys call you at 7. You know what I mean? Like those,
they do the 12 to 2 like, shift.
Yeah,
you know.
And then
they let the CRA guys do the 10 to 12.
Well, my mom is a CRA person. That's so funny you say that. Both my mom and my dad both work for CRA, but they're not the call.
Oh, I thought you meant they're the scammers. No. I'm like, they're not Indian. No. What the hell?
But that's the thing is those CRA people probably aren't actually CRA. That's just an organization. Like they just say CRA because you kind of trust it, right? So
I know they're not CRA.
Yeah.
I just it sounded like they do those scams.
Yeah, exactly. But and then she.
So they work for the CRA.
Both of them, yeah, both government workers, and they even when I was a young kid, that was the goal, man, because it's like
we talked about this last time, just ultimate security.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was about, and just the idea of how far that's evolved, how they've to a certain extent accepted where I'm at now. You know, my dad saying like, "Hey, you're the only person I know who does what he wants." You know, that's what he said, and it's just like that idea of being open for me to do it. I don't know if it was a compliment or not.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is that a compliment?
No idea. I have no idea, but I just know that he acknowledges my life,
okay.
You know, like, so that's already a thing. And so, yeah, that's a part of the show is really about being able to just go through all these experiences of my life. My grandfather, when he passed away, that was a huge moment in my life too, because that's how I ended up public speaking for the first time.
Was he first person in Canada?
So he actually his story was crazy, man. So he actually went to America first.
Yeah.
And he ended up staying in America for a bit, and then his mother contacted him to be like, hey, you got to come back to like Hong Kong right now. Like we're in trouble about something or whatever. When he went back there was guards and like armed guards who arrested him. And then they ended up putting him into one of those, I guess it was an internment camp of some sort
camp,
or war camp things. And for General Mao, for his like audios, they would just play it over and over and over again. And he always joked, but I think it definitely came from a place of trauma. But he was like, there's no one on this earth that knows those songs better than me. That's what he always said. And he'd laugh. And then we'd be like, oh my God. Right?
Because
like,
they literally Clockwork Orange to open his eyes, like type of shit. Like held his ears open. It's like, ah.
Yeah. And that was like like years before. And then he ended up meeting my grandmother. And then
in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, that's right. And then it was crazy because him, my grandmother, and my 4 aunts and my mom, so 5 of them, and then his mother. So there's 8 people, all lived in a place that was the size of the kitchen I had growing up. And my mom would bring it up all the time. She'd be like, you know, like we used to live 8 people in the kitchen this size or a place this size, and we'd have to leave the room to go to the washroom and say, like just like very difficult childhood, right?
Like,
But then he ended up deciding to get sponsored and coming to Canada, and he was the first one to bring the whole family over. And my mom came over when she was like 16, 17.
So she grew up
school.
there.
Yeah, she grew up there, and then she grew up there, and then at 16 she ended up coming over and starting like being in high school. So imagine the whitest town, Brockville, Ontario.
That's where they went? Oh, my God.
Brockville, Ontario. And then 5 daughters, like all 5 of them ended up in one high school. So imagine you're in high school, like a white
and
guy.
These 5 Asian chicks show
5
up.
Beautiful Chinese women or like girls just show up. You're like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, it must have blown people's minds.
People thought,
like,
is Cirque du Soleil in town? Like, what the fuck is that?
Or the Shen Mu dance.
Yeah, they're like, we're getting a Mandarin soon. You could tell.
But it was crazy, like how the stories that they would tell of like how they were treated, and like it was just really
like in
difficult.
Brockville,
Obviously
straight racism.
Yeah, it was a lot of racism, I would say, and but that's just part of it. Like it was just so different.
This is like 70s right now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
it's just-
wild. What I want to know is, do like you now hanging out with like a lot of these, you know, the artistic community of like the Asians. Is there a difference between like the people like Mandarin mainland parents and Cantonese like Hong Kong parents?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
what is it?
absolutely.
Like, are they, who's like, is one more emotionally detached? Like, is one more aggressive? Like,
I think that so the interesting part is that like as we try to like group people into a lot of stuff, especially in the artistic communities, I find that there ends up being people who just fight to be themselves so much, right? And I see that there is like a bit obviously where they started compared to where they get to. So as we try to like clump people together, it becomes as if they're like, no, I don't want that. So in the artistic community, there is a lot of push to find that authenticity, find that like self-worth in that way. So, but at the same time, when you first start looking at families and parents and the way in which they react, you could definitely see there's a difference in how they view things and how, what they value as well,
like
too,
examples.
right? So I would say, so I have a lot more friends who are Cantonese speaking because I personally am Cantonese as like well too, and I do notice that the parents they don't value the art. Like they don't see that as like a very important part of it. They see that what it is that we're doing.
Cantonese and Arabs and Africans are identical.
I mean,
They
like
were identical.
there's just so many different people. I just think that society in general, though, art has definitely been put aside more so in terms of like what is valued and what's not, right? So I definitely, it's hard to say, I guess, in terms of specifically Mandarin and Cantonese, right?
Did the more
language.
mainland, did they have more of an appetite for artsy stuff?
I honestly don't even know if I can answer that really well, because the people that I do know that are in that, they definitely do more visual arts.
Yeah.
There's not I don't know as many people who are Mandarin speaking specifically who are doing stand-up comedy or poetry or things like that, right?
Word.
So just from my like experiences, right? So the expression is more visual arts in that realm. But even at the same time, I would say most of the people's parents that I know are not like super hyped that they went to school for art or things
sure.
like that. Like
Yeah.
most immigrant families like just aren't.
It's not a
about that.
brag-worthy thing.
Yeah, and that's challenging, man. Like, and what's even more, one of the biggest things I want for InnerGenerational is to be able to show people that the speaking arts and the stage are places where even if you are a visual artist now, there's so much value to being able to also share your stories in this way. You know, it's not, you don't have to not share your stories through speaking. Like speaking and the stage is such a powerful way to be able to express yourself and share your full stories, right? So that's really what I want with this is, and I want to also, all the people who are wanting to share their stories or are kind of like suffering on their own and experiencing that on their own and kind of shameful of the way that they were brought up. That's what this show's all about, man. I want to be able to show how messy it is too. I want people to see that I wasn't perfect in this. I talk about comedy actually in my show a lot. What I'm going to be presenting is when I first started, man, I was like the most racist Asian comedian possible. I literally was like, what? I was like probably 21 at the time when I started, right? So every Asian stereotype, I would just do like a cover of it, but I would write like a better joke than I've ever heard anybody else do about that specific thing. So
Yeah.
I had like jokes
The small
about like
penis,
small
the
eyes,
this,
small dick,
the slanted
like
eye, yeah.
all of the shit that like people would hear now and they'd be like, oh, that's so dated, like eating
hack.
cats and dogs,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bad driving, just like the shit that just isn't. A lot of it wasn't even
thought
real.
it's what
A
you were
lot of it-
supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what was crazy. When I first started comedy, it was as if I was in such a people-pleasing mode, right? And I was so good at, especially in college, I went to Humber College, and the people that I knew there, mostly white people, I would always have to make fun of being Asian before they did, and they usually did it like
Preemptive strike.
So when I was in high school, it would have been like after 5 or 6 comments, then somebody would be like, oh, because you're Asian or something like this, whatever. In college, it was like, you're Asian, like literally like so fast. So I had to like jump in before they did to take the power away from them, right?
Gotcha,
So,
yeah.
and then that, right when I started doing comedy, I was like, okay, it was something
what I
I was
do.
already doing. So I already started doing it. And obviously it was just, after a while, it just drains your soul, man. You just are. What happened was I was like an avatar of Asian. So like anytime I would go on stage, I would just be doing like if they want, what would they want to hear from an Asian comedian? I would just do those jokes, and then it just sucked my soul. Like I remember the moment that everything changed. It was just like I was just on stage and I was like, so I'm Chinese, and then the audience just like is like, and they just started laughing. And I was like, all right. And then I just like tried to continue because I had a whole section of jokes that were like Asian jokes and then Chinese jokes. So like it was like a different part of my set, right? So I was like, so I'm Chinese, just so that I can kind of prompt my
Chinese jokes.
my Chinese jokes specifically.
And they laughed at just that.
They just me saying, so I'm Chinese. And then they laughed so hard to the point they had an applause break.
For you,
That's
all you said?
And I've never gotten an applause break before. This is the first applause break I've ever gotten in comedy ever, and that's what it was for. And then I was just like, oh my God, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like,
That's
it was
hilarious.
just like,
That's a wake-up call.
it was such a wake-up call, man. And it was literally like probably...
Do you remember what was it in Toronto?
No, it was in Ottawa.
Okay.
I know exactly where it was and the moment that it was. So it's
What was the venue?
It was Absolute Comedy in Ottawa.
No
Yeah.
way, dude.
Yeah, it was. Man. Yeah.
And in your mind, in that moment, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but the craziest part was like I was like
People were shaking your hand after great
they were so
set.
but that's the part that was
Anto,
crazy.
you've got a lot of
I just
potential.
went on like
Oh, you drop your
automatic-
chopsticks. They're so racist.
Yeah.
You're like, you brought those just to do that.
the stuff that you just said isn't even as racist as what actually happened. So I'll just say really what happened. So I said, so I'm Chinese, and then there's the applause break. And then in that moment, I had to just like two choices, right? I could be like, you guys are fucking awful, whatever. Or I could do what pretty much I feel most comedians would have done, especially in their earlier. But this is me. I'll just
that's
say
not even the joke.
But this is what. Yeah. But this is what I did was I just continued. I just
Oh, yeah.
like kept doing my super racist Chinese jokes there, and I just I just took it and they loved it.
Yeah.
And what's even more fucked up is that what happened. You were like, oh, the chopstick thing, or like what? All of that stuff isn't even as bad as. Random white people would always come up to me and just try their Asian street jokes on me. That's what they would do. They would just start
God.
the Asian street jokes,
Oh,
and
God.
then they would just want you to laugh so bad. And then they would do their accents, like, and they would do, and it was just like
that's you
I
demonstrate.
opened it.
You
Exactly.
open the door, being like, "I'm the guy. Come,
Yeah.
come, siphon
Yeah.
all that shit off to me. I'm cool with it. I'm cool."
Exactly.
You know what
And-
I mean?
Yeah, and that's the most painful part of it is like, and
Like
that-
looking back at it,
looking back at it and realizing that. And also the craziest part is that even just as we're talking right now, if you cut this interview in a certain way, it would be like, Anto loves racist Chinese jokes
Yeah.
about Asian people. Like, like,
and you
but it-
zooms in on you with
but-
graphics and shit.
But that's
Boing.
the exactly.
Boing,
And then
boing.
there's like Japanese
Chopstick,
writing,
da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
and like Japanese writing on the side, and like it's just the wrong, like everything terrible, right? And that's the thing is that however it's cut or however it's presented, and that's what I really want to show. The idea of the intergenerational is to be able to give enough space and time to have this like calling myself out in and being like, look what it is, the mistakes that I've made, thinking that I was actually, to me, when I was doing it, I was like, I'm uplifting the Asian voice because there's no other Asian people doing this, and I'm getting shows, I'm like doing well, like I'm
Meanwhile, you're
performing
taking
a
them
lot.
back 100
I'm
years.
literally pulling it
Pulling
back and
everyone
like
back.
making it so, but at the same time, it was so painful now looking back to it. But at the same time, that's how I got to where I am now, right? Like all of that shit that I went through before, I'm like, man, like I fucked up. And that's the thing is that when I see people getting canceled for things that they did like 10, 15 years ago, I'm like there's two parts of me. I'm like, oh, fuck. But I'm also like...
You're like, that's fucked up. Oh, it was rape? Oh, okay.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right. It was-
yes.
oh, rape? Fuck. I mean,
Exactly.
I was just doing hacky Asian
Yeah,
shit.
exact-
They
that's what-
raped? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fucked up. Maybe
Exactly.
15 years is... Oh, fuck. 100 people?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay. But
Yeah.
like, no, I know what you mean. Do you remember when you had that realization and we're like, fuck, I gotta change?
That was the
The
moment.
transition.
Yeah.
Because the transition is rough because you leaned so hard on the hack
Mm-hmm.
Asian stuff, the stuff you thought you were supposed to cater.
Yeah.
And now you're like, no, I'm gonna talk about my interest, which is I my pet peeves, my stuff that's not Asian related, just me as a human.
Yeah.
Was it hard? You're
Dude,
like, fuck, this is hard.
It's so fun because your hypotheticals you're giving aren't even close to how bad what actually happened is. So what actually happened was I moved to Toronto, and at that point I was obsessed with puns, and I'm still obsessed with puns, right? But at that point I
was waiting for a pun right
I didn't
there,
know
yeah.
how to like mix it in, right?
Yeah.
I literally was at one point I was only doing puns during my set, and every story that I would tell would just lead to a pun. Like it was the only thing that I was doing. So it was so interesting. I went from being the Asian joke guy to the pun guy. So like I couldn't even ever just be Anto, right? That's what was so fucked up, was that I wasn't even comfortable with being myself at all. And that's what's so powerful.
Like,
to
where
a
are you
certain
guys
extent.
going?
Like,
I'm Pun. And they're like,
that's why I
some
made
guy
it.
just attacked you.
Yeah. And that's
So you went fully into
fully
puns.
into puns, and that's like all I was wanting to do. And like, what was in like,
But if you look back and are honest,
yeah.
what do you think it was? It was like, because you're now talking to you. You clearly look back. I was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see the ebbs and flows of this character development of myself
Mm-hmm.
years ago. What do you think it was? Do you think you just like your true self wasn't interesting? You know what I mean?
It was a lot of fear, and
Yeah.
also just
Fear of like expressing yourself and it not being funny, it not doing well.
Dude, that's exactly it. So here's the thing. Being a comedian already was so challenging for my parents to accept at all. So if I did it and I did a caricature of what I thought a comedian was and I failed at it, my parents, even if they judged being a comedian, it wasn't me that failed in it. It was this caricature that I had made of myself that was
Gotcha.
there. You see what I'm saying?
It's a defense mechanism in a way.
Exactly. So now, as I'm presenting my whole self in my shows, and I'm now, or at least I'm doing the best that I possibly can at the place that I am. And now, if they're like, we don't accept what you're doing, they're actually, to a certain extent, saying they're not accepting me still, to a certain extent. And that's way more painful, right?
But at the same time, you get way more fulfillment from expressing your whole
Exactly.
self. So it's like, it sucks that you don't accept me, but it's me.
Exactly.
What do you
but I never felt it. So here's one thing that's interesting, because it does my whole show connects a bit to like therapy is such a big part of it as well too. One big thing about why I think a lot of people avoid therapy is because they've never actually felt the success or the power of that, right? They've never experienced, oh, that actually worked for me. So that's the same thing with being authentic and being yourself, right? A lot of people have never even fully experienced and immerse themselves in what that feels like. So they never had positive results from it. They've just had snippets of trying to showcase a part of themselves, and then it didn't work, or somebody rejected that one part of it. And then they just were so fearful from that forever. They're like, oh shit, I don't want to feel like that ever again. But as comedians, and to a certain extent, we're producers and salespeople to a certain extent too.
Sales 100%.
We know that like that failure at that one moment, that's only in that moment. It doesn't mean your entire experience is. So you got to keep trying or keep pushing forward. And that's really what this is. Is this the ever evolved final product of myself? I don't think so. But it's where I'm at now. And it's come so far from where I was, man. Like looking back at that, like even just being able to say those things, like it just was, I was an avatar, man. I was just a fucking like robot of what I wrote all these jokes that I'm like, oh, that's a great joke. And then future me is going to really suffer when he has to say these on stage.
Fuck.
That's really what it was. Cause I'd be on stage and I'm like, I can't believe I fucking
like
wrote
the
these.
pun
Like,
stuff. Was it also like in the back of your head, you're like, I'm doing an act that my parents could stomach? Like, were you also always
wasn't-
like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because you're like, if I do puns, it's pretty innocuous. As long as I make people laugh, I'm not hurting anyone's feelings. So
But
like,
I was hurting people's feelings because I was doing really offensive and aggressively like fucked up puns too, really. So it's interesting because it was my exploration of words. Like I was seeing how people would forget that I was Asian because I was doing so many puns, and that's all I cared about, right? How many puns does it take for you to forget that I'm Asian? Like,
yeah, that's hilarious. A lot
of puns. It was like people were like lighting me,
like,
and I was
that
like,
Asian guy said like 100 puns. You over here, you're like, fuck, I need more puns.
yeah.
And then what happened after the puns?
Yeah, and then I just went. I actually started doing. So I was doing puns, and then at one point I started doing. I worked for an organization called Free the Children, and then
That sounds like a Michael Jackson
It was
song
like-
with like celebrities. There are children in the locked, and we gotta free the children. And then some guy, Bono, comes from the back.
Yeah.
Because they're running far away.
Yeah. And then they'll take the headphone and just put it on one hand, like
And
that.
they all have a script. 'Cause you gotta free the children now, or Amber Heard will shit in your bed.
And none of them memorize the
No-
song, right?
nobody
And they're all
cares,
just
yeah.
like, this is where
Their agent was
they're
like, this will
showing
be
each other.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have enough papers for everyone. Like, there's so many people in one recording studio.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, it always is like that. They're looking over the shoulder and shit.
Yeah.
You gotta free the children now. But
Yeah.
anyways, you worked at this organization.
And then, so I was working for them, and I started doing motivational speaking. and I actually was doing facilitating.
I can
too,
see
right?
that. I'm motivated as fuck.
Yeah, but
I love the
it was-
energy.
it's just like that was part of it. It was like just hype, right? Like I actually was like one of the leads on this thing called crowd pumping. They used to do these huge events. So they had these events called We Day and shit. And then so they would have like 17,000 youth in this one place.
This sounds like O Week, orientation week.
It's
Is this not?
no, it's like an they're just like
How old are the kids?
they were usually in high school-ish.
Word,
age.
okay.
Yeah, so
Because the same kind of initiative happens the first week of university.
Yeah.
There's always that like.
yeah. I
"Welcome
was
to
one
the
of those guys.
First day
too.
of the rest of your lives, and you painted your face blue. I could see that for sure. Give it up.
They're
for
wearing a
fucking-
vest.
yeah.
You're wearing a vest and shit, and like,
All the immigrant engineers on the back are like, "This is dumb. I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch Rooney Kenshin in my room."
yeah, don't even lie.
I'm
Those
gonna go
guys,
watch-
those guys chilled and watched all the crazy
We
people in the front, like pouring paint on
we
themselves.
We would
and,
watch
like,
just to talk shit and then go
exactly.
back and watch anime.
Yeah. So what was crazy? That's actually one of the like when I was in college. They actually always got me to be the first because I had no fear with that. Right? They'd be like, "Oh, we need to get."
Oh,
But I
no,
wasn't even
before.
stand up. This was
Before,
before.
you're right.
So I was like maybe like 18 or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, we need to get everybody to come to
Corral.
this event, corral, whatever." And then I'd be like, "All right," I'd stand on a table and I'd like stomp on the table and be like, "What up?"
Oh yeah,
Like,
real quick. You said it was your grandpa's. You did a eulogy or something. That was
yeah,
the first
that's
public
right.
speaking.
The first public speaking I ever did, and that was when I was 21. So
Yeah.
it was right after university, at the end of university. So yeah.
And this kind of like sparked. This was the spark for stand up.
2 weeks later, I did my first stand up set, man. So
Did people laugh or was it poignant? and
dude, I
people were
fucking
like,
killed the first two sets I had, but I also wore
no, not stand up.
Oh, stand-up.
That eulogy. I killed that
no,
eulogy.
no.
Is that a
but-
pun? Are you doing? He's doing puns again.
I can't stop. I didn't even want to do that
Is he
one.
Asian? I don't know because that pun was good.
Yeah.
But like, so did they ask you in advance or did they just throw it up on you last second at his funeral?
The eulogy? No. So I found out that nobody was going to speak at his funeral.
Yeah.
And that just made me so disappointed and sad because he had 13 grandkids, 5 daughters. He had family members flying in. Like, this man was like a pillar of fucking community. Like, he had a restaurant that the place that it's in Athens, Ontario, it still is up right now. And it's just crazy the amount of people that were coming through, and they just so much love for him.
And no
but
one
nobody
talked.
was going to speak at his
Wow.
funeral because in Chinese families, a lot of times you don't express with words
Gotcha.
and emotions in that way, right? So
There's just like a parking lot full of Subaru Foresters with bows on them. Like, sorry for your loss.
Civics, lots of
The check engine light is on.
All of them.
I'm sorry about that.
We're so
got a
sorry
good
for your
deal on
loss.
it.
But they did like
But there was no microphone though.
there was a microphone, yeah, and a podium.
And just standard funeral home.
Yeah.
But no one
Yeah.
was gonna go up.
Yeah, nobody. Well, the way that it was set up was that there was a priest that was going to go up and share.
Yeah.
And then I think my uncle was going to like host it, kind of, like introduce anybody who wanted to speak, and there was nobody else who had volunteered at that point. And then on that day, I was the only one who ended up speaking. So yeah, it was definitely like not a common thing in terms of just expressing ourselves. But then when my grandmother passed away 2 years ago, myself and 2 other of my cousins actually spoke at her funeral, and I was just so happy to see that like people wanted to say something, and I was like, why? But obviously after 12, 13 years, they finally were able to hopefully open up more and speak more and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Hell yeah. So that kicked off stand up for you.
kicked up stand up. 2 weeks later, I did my first comedy set. And I crushed the first 2 sets so badly. What was fucked up was that I wore a rice patty hat on stage.
Dude.
So now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, that's so fucked up.
This is so
right?
similar
Like,
to when Bobby Lee tells his intro into stand up. He did such a similar thing where he was
Yeah.
like, he just did a caricature of what he thought
I
he
didn't
was
even
supposed to
know
do.
about Bobby Lee, and now whenever I hear about
He'll
shit
go
about
be like,
Bobby Lee's stuff,
I
was like,
tiny,
wow.
tiny. Like he'll do
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this stuff, just exactly what you were saying, catering to what they expect you to be
Exactly.
saying. I'll give them exactly what you want. Then,
Yeah.
then you can't not love me.
Exactly. And what was crazy is it was like you sacrificed your soul,
Your soul.
for the stage. That's really what it was. And wanting all of those people to like you, you basically were hoping that that'll make you learn to love yourself, but it really wasn't. It really fucked
the
you up.
opposite,
It was
yeah.
the opposite. It made you like,
Because you're honing this thing
and there was
that's
so much
destroying
resentment.
you.
Yeah, exactly. You're crafting and like creating this item that was basically like the way that I always think of a set is like it's as if you have
You're
like
molding,
a beautiful
yeah.
crystal
Yeah.
and then you're like revealing it to people and then you're sharing your set or whatever, but my crystal just would say racial slurs.
Yeah.
Like that's like how bad it was. Like,
But what's fucked up
it's
is
like-
on like day, it's like you're polishing it. You have a shitty crystal and then you're slowly polishing it
yeah.
and you're revealing it. But before you show it to people, it's polished. It's
Yes,
polishing,
exactly.
polishing. But the problem is on day set 38, when you just can't, this thing is killing you and you're like, I'm not revealing this. I'm revealing more myself. The issue is the fear of the fucking open ocean of
Dude, you're
navigation.
like-
What do I do? All I know is this crystal. You go
Yeah.
right back to this crystal.
Exactly.
You go right back to it because it's the only thing honed.
And then you're also
So it's a trap.
that trap also sets you up for more failure though if you only are showing that and you're not showing parts of yourself. But what's happening now is that that's one of the things that I have available. So like this is something obviously most comedians would forever hate if somebody said this about them, but I feel like to a certain extent I'm like can be compared to like a prop comedy even to a level. Like stand-up comedy to me is one of my props. Like poetry is one of my they're just
I mean, Carrot Top is
Skit.
killing it, right? So it's like,
it's like one of my like items that I have to present to the audience, right? And when I'm sharing my whole self, all of these are parts of myself. So it's like I'm going into my box of like different ways in which I'm performing, but I just choose the stuff that I think is dope, right? I think comedy is amazing. I feel poetry has helped me express in a different way. Storytelling, I really love the aspect of bringing people into my life in a certain way. So like all three of them serve different things, right? So that's the beauty of being able to actually be multidisciplinary artist in that way, is that like different parts of myself get like, you know.
what I want to know now is, because we both MC weddings and you do it
Yeah.
like way more legit and you have a lot more of a track record of it as well. I just have like a Kijiji ad. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of brown weddings. I do a lot of brown weddings. No one else is looking for an MC on Kijiji.
Yeah,
you know? They're looking for, I know where they're looking for the deals. Yeah. But like, how did all of that help like make you a killer MC?
Dude,
At a wedding.
comedy was such an amazing setup to being a good MC, right?
You don't
Like,
have to be funny as an MC. That's the best
Yeah.
part. You're like, they're paying you more than comedy ever pays you.
Yeah,
And you're like, I
absolutely.
don't have to be funny.
Yeah.
All I have to do is just not be racist. And like, because they're worried about some crazy, like, loose cannon motherfucker is going to go up there and go into some tirade, right?
or family member that's gonna lose it, right? But that's the thing, is that what's like amazing to me is that the way in which I started public speaking was because nobody wanted to speak at my Gongong's funeral. The reason I ended up getting weddings was because nobody wanted to speak at the Cantonese weddings.
Yeah.
So it really is the same, like,
You cornered the market,
It really
baby.
is,
Yeah.
man. Like, and I specifically, like, I would say out of every year, if I'm when I was at my peak, I was doing maybe like 12 weddings or something like that. One of them was English only. Like all the other ones, I'd have to do Cantonese and English, right? So that's what they want, is they want somebody who's able to speak English.
Because there's
really
a lot
well.
of elders there too.
That-
right?
That's what it's about. It's
Yeah.
about honoring the elders and being like, oh, you hired someone who at least lets us know what's happening. And that's what's so funny, is because I actually have been hired in weddings specifically. I got flown out to Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
Because, just one time.
Yeah.
Because the guy's Cantonese was not good, so that he wanted someone to basically
The MC over there.
No, not an MC. The groom.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
So basically, I had to speak to an entire like 350 people who all of them were native Cantonese speakers, and I come in with like this huge, like they call it joksing, which is like a Americanized, Canadianized Cantonese speaker, right?
Yeah.
And so I go in and I just basically
Or bad
wear them
Cantonese.
down,
Yeah.
wear them down for like the entire night. And then right before he went on, I finally got them. Like I finally got them to laugh at multiple things in a row. And then I got them like engaged, and I was like, now I could bring this guy on stage. And his Cantonese was like not very good.
But they were already used to it.
But they were like, not as bad as that guy. Anytime that in his speech, he would say some stuff in Cantonese. He'd be like, not as bad as Anto. And everybody's
Laugh,
like,
laugh.
"Ah!"
Yeah.
They loved that, right?
love it, dude.
So yeah, it is specifically cornering the market, but it was such a gift, man. Like honestly, there was some years where I was doing so much comedy and so much like performance, and I couldn't pay the bills and stuff. And then the wedding season would come, and I'd just be able to, pay for my whole year of living through weddings. So
So from what I understand, no one has monetized the Cantonese culture of poor communication more than you.
When you put it like that,
You're like, these people don't want to speak at all, and I will speak. Free the children. You just start singing up there.
in Cantonese
Yeah.
too. Like,
What's your go-to move for like bringing like I'll do weddings where it's just like a lot of the weddings you don't know anyone.
no, you don't know anybody.
Yeah, okay,
But
so
I go
these-
and I talk. So here's a
I
trick
talk
that
to
I
the
do.
bride and groom.
No, I talk to everyone.
So what do you do?
I literally talk to everybody. I'm like, hey, like, who are you? Well,
So before you go up the
so even today, I don't have to start work until like 4 or so, but I'm wanting to get there at 3 so I can go talk to the bride and groom, talk to the wedding party, talk to everybody who works there. Then I start making my way talking to strangers who look like they just want to talk to somebody or they're bored. And then
That's smart.
because then you're just basically building up an entire like many people who when they see your face they're like, oh, that
Familiar
guy,
face.
yeah, this is fun, so that's definitely one of the big things that helped me a lot.
That's so smart. I have social anxiety,
Yeah.
which like a lot of comedians do, but I have it. I feel like even more than the average comedian. I'm not that. Like once I'm behind the podium, you'll think this is the most
Yeah.
party goer, lively guy ever. But like I'm hiding till the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
they tell me I need to go up.
Yeah.
So often I go up and it's like 5-10 minutes of like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is this guy?
Uh-huh.
And I have to like overcome that before I introduce the family, you know?
But that's why I actually
That's a good move.
keep the beginning part quite short too, because I end up going and talking to everybody, and then I just let them know what's up. And then after we introduce the bride and the groom, then the vibe is already so high that you just are able to keep it flowing in that way. But that's just the talking with people. I like talking to people, but I also right when the dance floor hits, I bounce. Like I leave like, right away.
I
Like,
love that. I tell them, I'm like, once I open up the dance floor, I'm out. Like
Yeah,
that's always the
exactly,
last
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
How many weddings have you say you've done? Over 100?
I would say 75 to 100 if I had to guess. Yeah.
Horror stories?
Oh my God! One of the moms,
we
one of the
gotta-
moms hated my Cantonese so badly, and I
It's
actually
like a very proper mom.
yeah, and I actually had to speak to multiple family members to get all the translations of people's names and stuff, and she was so offended by, and she just kept heckling me. So it was like the groom's mom, and every time that I would say someone's name, she'd be like, "It's actually this name," and then I would be like, at one point, I like stopped like her and I was just like, I would love to hear, like, thank you so much for your help. And she didn't offer help, but I was like, that's just what I did at that moment. I was like, that's so nice of you to help me. So I'll say the names in English and you come up and say it in Cantonese. And then she wouldn't. So it was super awkward for that moment too, right? And then I ended up just continuing, and then it was bad enough that she, like, in her mind anyways, that she like came up like angrily, and then she read the rest of it. But like, she's honoring people.
Were you way off?
No, I don't think I was way off, man. But it was just because
Suck
there was
up,
so
bitch.
many names too, and like, so the thing that people don't know about Cantonese, it's very specific on. So if it was my dad's older brother and it's his son, that's different than if it was my dad's older sister and her son.
Gotcha.
The different name, they would be different. Like, or my aunt, who's my dad's older brother, older aunt, and then a younger aunt. It's different, right?
I don't
Or
even
wherever they are.
understand that stuff in English, by the way. When they go twice removed, I don't even know what removed means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck
Like,
are you
did they
talking
go to
about?
jail?
Was it
Is
an
that why
abortion?
they
Yeah.
removed? Like-
So they aborted 2 times? Jesus. Why is that in the name?
Yeah, what were they removing?
Like, I don't even know that stuff. And then these other cultures, I did a real estate, a big Brampton real estate firm had their awards. You know, it's like one of those. It's Sikh.
I thought you were gonna say that you got, like, you started wanting to go in real estate. I was like, I could see it. I could see him selling
Imagine,
homes.
dude.
I could see
fuck
you selling
comedy.
homes.
This is actually the final episode.
Yo, this
the
guy
next
could-
one is called The Closing.
Yeah, the unreal
Closing.
estate.
Yeah.
Like,
But this congregation, they wrote the phonetic breakdown for every single, like, Punjisa, like, it's all these like Punjabi names.
Yeah.
And like, I would like butcher a lot of these, and then eventually the guy just came next to me and just started reading all the names.
Yeah,
But there wasn't
yeah.
like any hate or anything like that. It was just kind of like people would laugh a little bit.
yeah.
And then he's like, came up and he'd be like, I'd be like, oh, okay, and give it up a didgeridoo. And then he'd like fucking would read the name, you know? He's like, when
Did you just say didgeridoo for one of their names? That just felt so painful.
And I wouldn't even say
I'm
the
not
name.
even Sikh,
Yeah.
and I feel like so like.
No, I wouldn't say the name.
Oh, okay.
We're giving
yeah.
up for, and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why am I even here? But
That's
what
so
else?
Interesting. Yeah. And then, man, just
Any
wait.
medical emergencies?
No medical emergencies. Mostly it was just things that were just out of timing or something. Or like one time we were doing a 10-course meal and then every course took like half an hour. So it started at around 6 and it wasn't like the food didn't finish until like midnight almost. And
What
then
the
people were
fuck?
like so pissed off. Old people especially were really mad and stuff. So it was so long just to like get all the food out. So, but it was a huge wedding too, right? So
10-course meal? Who thinks that's a good idea?
No, but that's Chinese wet. That's one of the big reasons why I can charge the amounts that I do is because 10-course meals is very common actually in Chinese weddings.
So you stay there that long?
Yeah, so they'll just be 6. Usually it's 6 to 10. Though that's like the all food, but like what's crazy is that a lot of the people are actually getting you to do activities in between. So you're like, how many speeches can we possibly do? So in between every meal, so they clear the tables and then you'd have an activity. Then they clear the table, then they'd serve the food, clear the tables, then you'd have another activity. So you have a video. There's just so many things happening, which is why like the MC position, a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's like. No,
it's the last resort.
Busy, yeah.
What's the most popular game? Because when I do these weddings, all I know is the shoe game.
Yeah, I have one for you that always crushes, and you could use it right now too. It's actually
right now.
No. But it's a mix between musical chairs, and scavenger hunt. So you put 8 to 10, maybe more if you have a big wedding, and you put them in the middle of the dance floor, and then you're like, okay,
in a circle,
but the back to everybody's back to each other.
Gotcha.
And then you're like, anybody who wants to come up here and jump in. So then they'll come up, and then you're like, okay, great. You go and you interview every single one of them. So you're like, what's your name? And then you talk to every one of them, and you make jokes about them,
That's a time
make fun of
killer
them.
right there. Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, it's great that you dressed up for today, and they're like wearing like flip flops or something. You know, like you just make fun of like kind of what they're. And then
you do all of them,
every single one of them, and then everybody's like, and you get them excited, and who do you think's gonna win tonight? They're yelling their friends and family members, whatever. And then you're like, okay, we're just gonna test one right now. Go and get me a teacup, and then they'll run to their tables. And then grab a teacup and then run back, and then they have to get back in the seat. So for the first one, you don't remove the seat, right? But you just practice one.
Oh.
And then every time you say something
do you
different.
tell the DJ to drop a song?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay,
and then
cool.
and then the next one's like, okay, go and get me a chapstick or lipstick. So they run and grab it. They come back. One of the chairs is missing, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, audience.
Remove the chair.
Everybody say, oh, with me. Oh, and then the whole audience goes, oh, and it's like hilarious. And then you interview them. You're like, how are you feeling? We're so sorry.
The loser.
That you lost. The loser.
Oh, God.
And then we're like, who do you want to win? And then they'll say the person, whatever. And then the thumbs
and then
up.
round of
excited.
applause for them. They go back.
Exactly.
Keep going.
Keep going. The last one that you get, one of the ones that gets the biggest laughs is, okay, the next one, go and get a Visa card or whatever. They go get a Visa card, and you're like, all right, everybody swipe on this machine that I have here. And like, and then that gets a laugh every time. And then this basically, if you're doing dad jokes, like, in a condensed way, that's what you're doing, really.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the best, though. I'm always like, go and get me a toilet paper roll. So they have to run to the washroom. And then while they're gone, I'm on the mic just like making fun of both of them, basically, just roasting them, right? I'm like, look at how he's running, like shit, whatever. Having
There's someone
fun with
in
that.
the stall right now getting the toilet paper taken.
Yeah,
I'm using that.
Yeah, and then they come back and everybody, it's like exciting kind of, and so that's like the game show vibe that you're wanting.
That's awesome.
Right? So that's probably the one that always kills. And you could
Do you leave it till the end?
You'd have the 2 games. You do the shoe game, but I actually do a modified shoe game. So the modified shoe game is better because the shoe game it forces the bride and the groom to be in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But the way that we do it is that it's actually more of a game for the audience. So you have one person who gets a male and a female shoe from every table, and they stand up. And then the bride and the groom, they answer. They tell us what's the right answer. So you're like, oh, who hogs the remote control? And then everybody guesses. Yeah. And then they'll say bride or groom, and then we ask the bride and groom, which one is it? And then the bride will raise her shoe or whatever, and then everybody who lost, they'll sit down. And then it's whoever is the final person, they win a prize. So both things, it's
that gets the congregation involved.
Yeah, and you have to tell them both. Everybody, just bring a prize. That's just have a
something to give
to them. I'm always like,
that's a good idea. That's
I'm like,
awesome.
if you have an old toaster or something that somebody gave to you, those gifts are great because you could hold it.
It's
above.
a big box.
You're like, oh,
They're like Subaru Forester.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you idiot, it's a fucking box. Dude, that's awesome. I actually have like I have one coming up. I don't do too many anymore, but I have one coming up where they're like, "What are the games?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I'll give you my
besides the
list.
shoe
I'll
game."
send you my list.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll send you my whole list,
appreciate it,
man.
homie.
Got you, man.
I appreciate
$500.
yeah. Yo, did I ask you the 3 questions last time you came on, or did I create? Start
You probably
that
created
after?
it after, man. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So
Okay.
I asked 3 questions now at the end of the podcast. The
Okay.
first one is, did you get beat growing up?
I did get spanked as a kid. I did, yeah.
You been through therapy now that you say
Yeah,
spanked?
absolutely,
It was
yeah.
beat pre-therapy.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is that white people call it.
Spanking.
A lot of immigrant families they call it discipline.
Yeah.
And then white
They call it
families they call it abuse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the big,
yeah.
like that's the big difference, right? So even it's realizing that actually brought a lot of solace for me, man. Like when I realized, oh shit, like that was actually physical abuse, and my like they didn't realize it either, though. It was just like
That's
we were
what
saying
they
earlier,
saw.
That's what
That's
they saw. Intergenerational, man. Like so that's the thing. That's one of the biggest things about the intergenerational show is like, what are the things that worked for me? I know that shit didn't work. I'm fucked up still to a certain extent from that stuff. So I don't want that to continue. And that's one big thing in my family. I know that if there's family members who hear this, they're going to be like, why are you telling all our secrets and things? But I would rather family members be uncomfortable and a little bit hurt maybe that I'm speaking on this stuff than for us to move forward with this shit as a reality. I don't want anybody ever to experience that, you know? So that's
Good vibes.
important, man. Yeah.
I like that. That's kind of the whole point of intergenerational,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Second question is, who... Actually, no. What's something Cantonese people do that you've never seen anybody else do? Either in Hong Kong or here. Only Cantonese people do this.
Well, in Hong Kong specifically, right outside of
yeah.
where I was living, they actually every Sunday they would all be in the park singing songs to each other, and they would have groups of ladies who were dancing. And then in the bushes, there was always like old men who were watching the ladies dancing and stuff like that.
In the bushes,
in the
like
bushes,
Moses
there
left.
was like
That's
12,
hilarious.
12 men in the and it was normal.
It was-
and then the guys in the
Like
bushes,
hidden.
Yeah, they were hidden, but like obviously you'd see them when you walked away or whatever. But those old men in the bushes who were watching the dancing. I honestly, sure, some people could say, oh, it was from like, you know, dirty thinking. Or I don't even think, a lot of them were just really shy old men who were like, they would kind of like dance along a little bit too. And it was like weird. It was like, to me, I saw that and I thought it was really cute. And then my partner at the time was like, that's so creepy.
Exactly.
Right? So,
Isn't that funny? It's like we call it discipline, they call it abuse.
Yeah.
They call it charming, we call it predators. Right? Like
Yeah.
that's so fucking. And they'd be like dance, not like Tai Chi or anything.
No,
like
no. They
dancing.
were dancing and
Yeah.
they was dancing to song, like really.
And they'd
fun
be in
song.
there like, oh, the bushes are full today.
Yeah. The guys in the
Great.
bushes are like, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man? Good
Yeah.
to see you. You're in your spot. Cool,
I'm
you know?
shy.
Yeah.
That's not how Hello Kitty got invented. I'm shy. Okay, final question is, who do the Cantonese talk shit about? Like, who is the butt of jokes?
Has any time that you've asked this question, did people ever not say everyone? Because I know that
couple people say
Cantonese say like Cantonese people behind the scenes. I wouldn't say specifically my generation because most of the people I know Cantonese speaking are like
New generation.
but like I would say the older generation, they are basically afraid of pretty much every other race, I would say, right? So, and they definitely, the closer that we were to being Cantonese, like Mandarin speakers and people from mainland China, Cantonese speakers definitely talk shit about them. Other Asian people definitely talk shit about them. South Asian people for sure. Black people for sure. Like,
course.
and that's the thing. It's such a.
That's a list we always make it on as black people. Like,
Yeah,
talk
but-
shit about us? Yeah, we on that
But
list.
that's the thing is I actually recently asked my aunt, I was like, what made Chinese people dislike black people? I never understood because of everything that was
She
happening.
was like,
She's
O.J.
like, it's-
Simpson.
it was like
You're
so,
like, oh,
so
fuck.
specific, but it wasn't. She didn't.
Damn.
Even, to her, it's not even that. She's like, it's not that we don't like them. It's because I'm scared of them. That's what she said, and then she like kind of like slowly backed. I was like, "What? This is so strange." Like,
is there a black person here
Yeah.
right now? Yeah.
Why are you
That's
asking me?
hilarious.
Why are you asking
It was
me?
gonna be profound there. It's not that we don't like them. It's that they terrify us. You're like, that's worse.
I'm like, I don't know if it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that's better or worse. It's just
that they are in our nightmares. They are the boogeymen. I love that though. That's so funny. But you have to admit, the Mandarins, the Koreans, the Chinese, they all go in on the Southeast Asians, you know?
Southeast. Oh,
the jungle Asians.
I personally will never call them the jungle Asians.
Hey, Bobby Lee calls it.
Yeah, of course, because he's not like part of the
jungle Asian.
So must, but Kalila definitely.
Like
also
I've worked in China.
Yeah,
I have friends who grew up in Hong Kong. I have friends who've been everywhere. But out of all these people tell me to visit, Asians and non-Asian, the most places they tell me to visit are in Southeast Asia.
Absolutely, go for sure.
Vietnam, Thailand. Like all these places, that's where people push me to visit.
I've
like,
been to
more
all
than
those,
anyone.
man.
No one else. No one I've never met was like, dude, you gotta go to China. You gotta go to Korea. Like I'm gonna go to Korea. I've been to China. I've been to Japan.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, you gotta go to Vietnam.
I would say a lot of people say Japan and Hong Kong, but
it depends on what culture.
It depends what you want though. If you want big city vibes, Hong Kong's fucking dope. Especially like 1 second you're in like the most metropolitan super city type thing. 1 second later, there's like a dude on the side of the road selling you like random shit. Like it's just
Tokyo too.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So to me, those are it just depends on what you're wanting, but absolutely when you're going, like you want to travel, you want that vibe, you want that beach, you want like
Vietnam is next for me.
Southeast Asia. Vietnam was great, man. I loved it.
Can't wait
like,
to go to Vietnam.
Super good. And one thing that you should do is in the bigger towns.
You're like InnerGenerationals actually has a Vietnam.
I would
episode.
love that, man. Yo, I want to do an Asia tour. That's actually a huge thing that we want to do is we want to actually travel with InnerGenerational because like that's the reason why I set it up the way that I did was in Toronto. We're doing 4 different dates in different locations, right? Because I wanted to set it up like a tour. What would that feel like being in like a tour, right? So I want to tour with this show for sure. But Southeast Asia specifically, I would say one thing to do is contact, there's people who do tours, but they do it for pay what you can because there's a lot of students that, especially in Vietnam,
tourists and whatever,
he has one of those moped bikes, and he brought me to 5 different locations, and each
you
one
did
of them.
Stand up?
No, I did stand up there too. Yeah, I did stand up. So I did stand up in Vietnam. I did stand up in Bangkok, like Tokyo.
In Bangkok, I actually stood up and ran right out of there, so that was fun.
Yeah, you did it as well.
No. I'm planning. I haven't been to Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
I did stand up in China.
Yeah,
I did
it's
stand
amazing.
up in Shanghai for like I was working there a little bit. I would hit up all the open mics. It was super interesting because so many expats, South Africans, Irish, and Shanghai has a huge expat population.
That's where you
they
gotta
go
look.
there. They're like, bro, that's where they make Chinese chicks, bro. We gotta go there, bro.
Expats, man. That's who you're basically playing to when you're in Asia. Like, and let me know when you're going, man. I definitely got.
You got the hookup in Vietnam?
I would say Vietnam, no, but Bangkok for sure, Hong Kong for sure. Tokyo, I do have one not paid though. So yeah,
I see myself being in Hong Kong for business in the future. I don't know what business, but I see myself being there for.
But that's the thing
business,
with podcasting, man. If you can set it up in a way, you can go anywhere and you can interview people. Just set up 4 or 5 different and as you're touring, that would be so dope to interview, especially if you're wanting to not if you're not headlining the shows right when you're first starting in Asia. Just go there and then you can interview on your podcast all the headliners that you're going to have on the shows, man. Like, and figure out how to start touring the way that they're touring. Because a lot of the, especially when one guy that really was amazing was Ron Jossel. When I was traveling in Bangkok, he ended up letting me jump onto one of his shows and I opened for him. And then after we went around the city and he just told me all about how he's touring, the way that it's all going. And it was crazy, blowing my mind at that point because
like the insight.
Yeah, the insight. And he was actually the first headliner I ever saw at Yuck Yucks. So he didn't really know that until I told him that, but it was like crazy to be opening for him in Bangkok when I saw him in Ottawa.
That's hilarious.
Like 8 years ago
Small
at that
world,
point too.
yeah.
It felt so small at that moment, you know? So
that's what this shit's all about, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been a pleasure, man. Please look into this
thank you.
camera.
Yeah.
Let the people know where the shows are, how to find you, everything.
Absolutely. So InnerGenerational, the dates are May 8th. That's at Chinatown Center. May 13th is at Infinity Strings in Markham. May 20th, Dawn on the Danforth. And then May 27th, that's going to be at 918 Bathurst. So there's 4 dates. Please check out our website, www.innergeneration.com, INNERGENERATION. RATION.com. That was so
He got
hard.
it. He
My
got it.
brain.
Yeah.
And then on Instagram, we're Inner-Generation. So definitely connect with us. Let us know if you don't have the funds to come to the shows. Let us know. We're looking for volunteers too. And the other artists that are going to be on the shows are Siddhartha as well as Shadell, and a huge shout out to the rest of the InnerGeneration team. We're so grateful. Like, everybody's been working their asses off. And then one final piece is that in July, we're actually going to be releasing a short 30-minute film about this entire project. So there's just so much great stuff that's going on. So
That's beautiful, man. As always, scroll below. You'll find the InnerGenerational handle, everything in the description below.
You should have told me that before I tried to fucking spell
Well,
it.
still, I mean, I'll give it to you, right? You know,
All right,
it's in
thanks,
there.
buddy. Thanks.
From my end, support the socials. Check out patreon.com/the Immigrant Section. Support the show directly. Get behind the scenes content, bonus episodes. And come out to my album taping May 20th.
Hey,
so
go to
his.
no,
He's
go
got
to-
3 other dates.
Yeah,
so
I have
choose
so many
one of
dates.
those.
Go to his-
May 20th, 3 Times Cafe, 2 shows, 8 and 10.
Yes.
Album taping and a mini special.
Yo,
I'm fucking looking forward to that.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
You said 10 o'clock there's one? Maybe
8
we'll
and
co-
10.
Yeah, maybe we'll be able to make one of those.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
sick. I'd love to have you
Oh,
out.
May 20th, I'm busy. Never mind.
Oh, this episode's not airing at all. I'm looking at the camera. It's never going to be seen. But homie, thank you
thanks,
for coming
brother.
out,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy, Abbas Wahab signing out. Peace.